What if I told you the very foundation of your financial security is eroding right under your nose? For generations, we've been taught to trust our national currencies, the dollars, euros, and yen in our bank accounts. But what if that trust is misplaced? What if the system is designed in a way that makes your money worth less and less every single day? Today, we're diving deep into the powerful ideas from Saifedean Ammous' groundbreaking book, The Fiat Standard. This book is our guide to uncovering the shocking realities of our modern monetary system, and why your money might be losing value much faster than you think. By the end of this video, I promise you, you'll never look at your wallet the same way again. So, let's start with the basics. What exactly is fiat money? The term fiat is Latin for let it be done or it shall be. Fiat money is a currency that a government has declared to be legal tender, but it isn't backed by a physical commodity. Its value comes from the trust and faith people have in the government that issues it. Think about the US dollar. It used to be backed by gold. You could, in theory, exchange your dollars for a specific amount of gold. This was known as the gold standard. It provided a tangible anchor for the currency's value. But this all changed in 1971 with what's called the Nixon shock. President Richard Nixon unilaterally severed the direct link between the US dollar and gold. From that moment on, the dollar, and consequently most world currencies linked to it, became pure fiat. Unlike commodity money like gold or silver, which have intrinsic value from their physical properties and scarcity, fiat money's value is based entirely on decree and public confidence. This shift was monumental. It fundamentally changed the rules of money and set the stage for the economic landscape we live in today. It's a system that allows for unprecedented flexibility. But as Ammous points out, it also comes with some serious, often hidden, flaws. Now let us get to the core of Ammous' argument. The inherent flaws of the fiat system. The most obvious one, which you probably feel every time you go to the grocery store, is inflation. Because fiat money isn't tied to a scarce commodity like gold, central banks can essentially create more of it out of thin air. When the supply of money increases faster than the supply of goods and services, each unit of currency buys less. Your money loses its purchasing power. This isn't an accident. It's a feature of the system. Ammous argues that this constant, slow drip erosion of value is a form of hidden taxation. It silently transfers wealth away from savers and wage earners, those who hold cash, to those who receive the newly created money first. Typically governments and large financial institutions. It punishes saving and encourages spending or risky investing just to keep up. This leads to another crucial concept: time preference. Time preference is an economic term for how much you value having something now versus having it in the future. A person with a low time preference is willing to delay gratification for a greater reward later. They save, they invest for the long term. Conversely, a high time preference means you want everything now. Ammous argues that the fiat system fundamentally distorts our time preference towards the short term. Because your money is constantly losing value, the incentive to save for the distant future is diminished. Why save $1 that will be worth less in 10 years? This mindset permeates everything. It encourages consumerism and personal debt. Why save up for a car when you can take out a loan and get it today? This same logic applies to governments. With the ability to print money, governments can finance massive deficits and accumulate staggering levels of debt without immediately having to raise taxes. They can kick the can down the road, leaving future generations to deal with the consequences. It's a system that prioritizes the present at the expense of the future. And who is in charge of all this? Central banks. Institutions like the Federal Reserve in the US hold immense power over the economy. They control interest rates and the money supply, making decisions that can create booms and busts, influence employment, and determine the value of your life's savings. Ammous argues this central planning of money is incredibly dangerous. It concentrates enormous power in the hands of unelected bureaucrats who, despite their best intentions, cannot possibly replicate the complex, organic signals of a free market. Their interventions often lead to unintended consequences, creating economic distortions and moral hazard. Where banks and corporations take on excessive risk, knowing the central bank might bail them out, your financial well-being becomes subject to the decisions of a small committee rather than being in your own hands. This isn't just theory. History is filled with cautionary tales. The most famous example is the Weimar Republic in Germany in the 1920s, where the government printed money so excessively to pay off war debts that the currency became worthless. People were using wheelbarrows of cash to buy a loaf of bread. But we don't have to look that far back. In recent decades, we've seen hyperinflation devastate countries like Zimbabwe, Venezuela, and Argentina, all stemming from the same root cause: the unrestrained printing of fiat money by governments. While the situations in major economies like the US or Europe aren't as extreme, Ammous warns that the underlying principle is the same. The difference is only a matter of degree and speed. The social and economic consequences of this system are profound. The constant devaluation of money disproportionately hurts the poor and the middle class, who hold most of their wealth in cash or savings accounts. Meanwhile, the wealthy, who own assets like stocks, real estate, and businesses, often see their net worth increase as asset prices are inflated by the new money entering the system. This widens the gap between the rich and the poor, contributing to social and political instability. It changes how we invest. Instead of funding productive enterprises that create real value, capital is often channeled into speculative assets simply as a way to escape the melting ice cube of fiat currency. The entire economic structure becomes more fragile, more financialized, and less focused on long-term, sustainable growth. So, given this somewhat bleak picture, what can you do? How do you navigate this fiat world? The first and most important step is exactly what you're doing right now: seeking to understand. Blindly trusting the system is no longer a viable strategy. Financial literacy is paramount. Understanding how money works, what inflation is, and the mechanics of the system empowers you to make better decisions for yourself and your family. It moves you from being a passive victim of monetary policy to an active participant in your own financial destiny. Once you understand the problem, you can start exploring solutions. Ammous is a vocal advocate for hard money assets that are difficult to produce and cannot be created by government decree. Historically, this has meant gold and silver. Their physical scarcity has made them reliable stores of value for thousands of years. In the digital age, Ammous points to Bitcoin as a modern equivalent. He argues its digitally enforced scarcity, with a fixed supply of 21 million coins, makes it a potential hedge against the endless printing of fiat currencies. Now, this is not financial advice. It's crucial that you do your own extensive research, whether you're looking at precious metals, cryptocurrencies, or other assets. The key is to find things that can potentially preserve their value over the long term, independent of government monetary policy. Beyond specific assets, the strategy is about shifting your mindset. It's about cultivating that low time preference that the fiat system discourages. This means thinking long term with your finances. It means prioritizing, saving, and investing over conspicuous consumption. It means diversifying your wealth, not putting all your eggs in one basket, especially if that basket is a currency that's designed to lose value. Focus on acquiring productive assets, things that generate income or have intrinsic value, like a stake in a profitable business, income-producing real estate, or even skills and knowledge that can't be inflated away. The goal is to build a financial fortress that can withstand the inherent instability of the fiat standard. It's about preserving the wealth you work so hard to create. To wrap things up, the key takeaway from Saifedean Ammous says, the fiat standard is that the money we use every day is not a stable, neutral tool. It's a political construct with built-in flaws that systematically erodes wealth, encourages debt, and concentrates power. Understanding its mechanics is the first, essential step toward achieving true financial freedom. It forces us to ask tough questions and to take responsibility for our own financial future in a way we might not have considered before. Whether you agree with all of his conclusions or not, the book provides a powerful framework for thinking critically about money. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. I know it's a lot to take in, but it's one of the most important topics for our time. What are your thoughts on the fiat system? Do you think hard money alternatives are the answer? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you found this video valuable, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content that challenges the way you see the world. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.